Welcome to Idle Insights. I am joined by Lauren Urban, and hopefully I've done everything technically correct, which, well, who can say? If we're on Twitch right now, let us know. That's a great sign.
I mean, I see us live. I can't listen to us for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, yeah.
I appreciate that my name is in larger font than yours.
Oh,
Ooh, maybe that's your technical screw up, is that the fonts are just different sizes. And hey, that's the worst thing to happen today.
Hit me up in the comments. I know. Yep.
Everyone in chat, tell us how much you like the font sizes.
You know what? The show would be good, but the font sizes are off.
Kerning. Why Kerning?
Why Kerning? Oh God, I was just thinking of a terrible character idea. Or the Scribes
called Kerning?
Or the Scribes wizard called Lauren Ipsum.
Oh, Laura. For a second, I'm like, what?
Not Lauren Ipsum, though. That's funny.
That is kind of. I could play that character. I could do that.
You could play that character very
and then,
meta.
yeah, you would have to. Your counter spells would be you'd have to screw up Kerning.
Yeah, you screw up the Kerning on someone else's spell. Yeah.
I force you to cast that spell in Comic Sans.
Yeah, I would hate that wizard.
Well, someone's playing that wizard now.
Yeah,
Either you're playing it or I'm playing it, and one of us is DMing it. Done.
That's out in the world. I will. If I DM it, I will kill it.
All right, that's fair. I will show up to one of your games as that wizard, ready to die.
I've gone full brutal. So yeah, what you got going on? You're in.
I'm planning on an Order of the Scribes wizard called Kerning, called Lauren. Who's
Ipsum.
Lauren Ipsum. Yeah. Not much is going on. How you doing?
That's a good Hitman title.
We don't hang out enough anymore.
No, that's true.
Yeah, even if it is on stream.
That's true. That's fair. It's all valid. I miss the chaos of us under our old shows. Of just like being, I don't know, let's just talk. It'll be fine.
Well, you don't have to miss it. It's what we're doing right now. There's just a chat watching us. Hi, chat.
The Lauren and Todd show.
There you go. Done.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. Like, why can't this be a weekly occurrence?
I mean, you can be permanently my Idle Insights co-host. I'm down.
I will be your Ed McMahon.
I think Chris Lindsay would have to be our Ed McMahon.
Okay, all right.
Only listen. I would mic Chris Lindsay from like 100 feet away.
with that laugh. I mean, yeah, Chris Lindsay is the best Ed McMahon. Chris Lindsay is just the best of us.
He's the best. He's the best laugh because every time I go to a con, I hear it before I see him. And then I can just find him, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like hearing a clock tower, but like in a comforting way.
When I got a chance to play with him on a show, that was my favorite part of the show, was figuring out, and I don't think it was just me, but everybody on the show was just figuring out how to make him laugh. Like, that was how you won D&D, was, could you make Chris Lindsay laugh? Yes, I win. I don't care what's going on with my character, but Lindsay's laughing.
That's the time where both Chris's got me, because the last time I played in a game with him, Perkins was DMing, and he told all of us, don't press this button. And like if you press this one button, it rewinds time. If really don't press the other button. Lindsay was in that game. And so it's Chris. I didn't press the button. I was playing a character who would have pressed the button because that character in particular will always press the button. But I didn't. And then at the end of it, no one had pressed the button. And both Chris's looked at me like, why didn't you press the button? It would have made you the DM. That was the plan.
What we've learned is that Averin's kryptonite is Chris Perkins.
It's because Todd's kryptonite is Todd is not Averin. Because Todd is like, I better not push that button, though.
As far as I know, that is the only time in the entire time you've played Averin and where Averin has not done something because Todd was scared to.
Yeah, I would say it usually goes the other way.
Yeah.
Because Averin is just impulse control, a lack of it. So
yeah. You tell Averin don't do something, and it's already been done. No,
very accurate, very true. Like taking your skin off, or the king is dead. Already, so why continue on this adventure?
I mean, or Kara could take her skin off if she really wanted to. It'd just take a while because it's like scale
it's
by
like
scale by scale.
Yeah. Just that
Listen,
would
I have threatened.
that make that canon where we just find husks of like,
It is. Orkira has talked multiple times about molting. I just have never
haven't you?
pulled the trigger and done it on a stream. It's just always been something that's already happened or is going to happen. Because yes, I personally, as a DM, all of my Dragonborn, Kobolds, Lizard folk, all those scaly creatures, they molt because how else do you replace scales that get lost? How do you explain any of those scaly creatures that have scars? Well, if you look at, not that reality is D&D, but like you can take inspiration from it. And if you look at like snakes or other lizards and things, when they molt to replace broken and injured body parts and scales, those scales often come back a different color or slightly off. They don't come back perfectly. And so why not for also D&D Dragonborn and Kobolds. And so, yeah, on a regular basis. There was a whole moment in D4 in where I talked about how I was looking for a specific oil because I got a molt soon. And it's not fun for anybody when that happens.
So, yeah, it's no secret you're in an upcoming show.
Oh, yeah. So I'm in a show called Idle Champions Presents Court of the Raven Queen. Orkira finally gets I finally get to round out the Heroes of the Plains cast. I'm the last one to be in one of these, but hey, I get to be with some awesome people, so I'm happy.
So it is a court drama, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. It's we're taking the Raven Queen to court over
you're taking okay.
Yeah.
Bold.
Well, she has taken our friend's friend and our friend's part of his soul. We're not sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna show up. I'm definitely not the lawyer because who would be the lawyer in that group? I mean, Shaka's pretty smart.
I think Shaka. Well, yeah, but he's the one on not on trial, but he's
what we want?
He's got more than skin in the game.
Yeah. Baloth is our lawyer. Baloth is 100% our lawyer because he is smart and he is cunning and he will take the Raven Queen for all she's worth.
Very good, Mark Mirror. Very good with Baloth.
Absolutely.
Shadow Sorcerers are a nightmare when you're playing them right. Yeah. So how do you think? So I've known Orkira a long time.
You have. You've dealt with Orkira on multiple occasions.
Orkira has dealt with things I've thrown at Orkira. So I feel like the Shadowfell may be like a walk in the park, but you hate undeath and negativity. And also negative energy. But the Shadowfell has that in spades.
Yeah, but she's with a bunch of people who also are not fond of any of that, and she knows
I think
a little
Desmond's
bit of.
Okay.
I think we all know how to deal with it. I think these are all characters who are, especially at the life experience that we're playing them as. Nothing is going to be brand new. It's not like we're walking into the Shadowfell and going to go, oh no, I was not like we know. There's going to be horrible things and surprises.
Oh
but
my!
we know
what happened? Why is it so dark here?
I thought this was rainbows and ice cream. So we all kind of know what to expect. Orkira has now gone through a lot, and so her hatred of undead is a very refined thing and is no longer
developed a refined palate for undead.
Well, when you hang out with a necromancer for a year and when you hang out with an undead for a year and when so I think the interesting thing with her, she has a very interesting opinion of the Raven Queen. She has not ever met the Raven Queen. Mm-hmm. And certainly both Lauren and Orkira are kind of unsure about a lot of the specifics of her, but Orkira has met people who are who the Raven Queen is their patron. And what she knows about the Raven Queen kind of aligns with her own ethos in a bunch of different ways about how death is not the end of things, about how undeath is a really bad thing, especially like liches and evil creatures like that. That being the matron of death is not evil, and so I think,
no.
I think Orkira's going into this, like you joked about this being a courtroom drama, but Orkira's going into this really believing the hard part is getting to her. Like there's going to be battles and fights and horrible things that are going to happen in the Shadowfell. But then Orkira kind of believes once we get to the Raven Queen, we can reason with her. Like the Phoenix and the Raven Queen are on the same page. So I don't know if that's what's actually going to happen. Probably not, but it'll be fun.
The Raven Queen canonically is always, I mean, it's always up to the Dungeon Master's interpretation, but I kind of, I know a lot about the Raven Queen. Tangentially.
And the interesting thing about her is that it could also depend on how B. Dave plays her.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like, because she's been represented differently in different editions. Certainly in 5th edition, my general sense of things, and don't quote me on any of this, is that she is fairly neutral and everything. And I would say only a few steps away from, like, Lady of Pain area of just, like, I have a couple of rules. Don't break them.
Well, and the extra interesting thing is there's the version of the Raven Queen that's like 5th edition Faerunian canon, and then there's now that we've got Tal'Dorei that's been brought in through Critical Role, like there's that version of the Raven Queen who has a different kind of feel, and like there's a bunch of different ways that this can go. And so I'm excited.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that I have liked about. I mean, the Raven Queen got done a bad turn, so historically. So, but I do like that. I always like it when these bigger than life entities are everything in the lore is not explained. I'm always happier. It's just fun to see everyone's interpretation. Yeah. So
and it gives you as the DM a lot more license with how you want things to go, and you can pick depending on what your players are doing. Like it's very possible because of who is going on this mission. The Raven Queen might react in very different ways to us, to what we have to say, to what we have to fight about, So it could be very interesting. But yeah, Orkira herself is hopeful because when she looks at the Raven Queen and she looks at the Phoenix and like the big major tenants, they kind of line up.
Right. Yeah. For the most part, I can see that.
Yeah.
So how do you think this group chemistry is going to be? And this is all happening Monday.
It's happening Monday. Yeah, Monday is episode 1. Lauren is super excited because I think all these players are absolutely fantastic. I've been wanting to play in a D&D game with several of them, especially Sharif. Like, this is canonically the first time Orkira gets to meet Shaka, but she has met all the other rivals of Waterdeep. So I'm excited for that. I think Baloth is the only one that Orkira knows, and playing with Mark is always fun. And the rest, I mean, the whole group is pretty fantastic. Orkira is pretty easygoing. So unless, unless someone does something outright evil.
Well, you're pretty easygoing unless what? Unless D&D.
And even then, once again, her hard lines used to be all about undeath, and yet here she hung out with several undead.
An undead warlock, a Dhampir.
Yep. On the D4 side, she hung out with a necromancer who was bringing characters into undeath.
That's a lot.
There was a lot. There's a lot going on. So she's a pretty easygoing person in general. So it's not, for me, I'm not worried about how we're going to get along. I'm excited about some of the conversations that get to happen with these characters because these are new experiences for me as her. And I think a lot of these characters have really interesting things that have happened to them that Orkira could learn from or impart wisdom to. And those are always exciting conversations.
Yeah, there's always like an MCU element to it. I mean, getting to play Eivor next to Baloth was a little like Doctor Strange and Iron Man meeting. Like, it's like these are both two sides of the same coin, basically just hanging out. So there's always those nice little fun chemistry moments you don't see coming. Though I honestly, my favorite moment was from ICP3. One of the funniest things was still it was Whittle yelling at Baloth during the fight needlessly. Like, I don't even remember what they were talking about. It was a weird aside. Just shouting during combat. I found that very charming.
And that's half the fun, right? Like, we're gonna be playing pretty powerful characters.
Yeah, 17th level, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's been announced yet, but there you go.
Whoops.
Well, it's not that much of a surprise because this is happening after Trials of Mount Tiamat and the events of. I don't think you'll need to have watched Trials of Mount Tiamat. Knowing B. Dave, he's going to give a really good recap
Yeah.
All you need to know is what we're going off to do. But it is happening after that, and those were all pretty high level characters. You don't send 5th level characters into the Shadowfell. So yeah.
Yeah. To the end. What Orkira is this? Where in the timeline is this for Orkira? Because Orkira has had been on multiple shows at the same time, has had an end.
Several ends.
Of a kind.
Yeah.
So where do we find ourselves in this timeline that is Orkira?
So everything that has aired that Orkira has been in has happened except for the second half of the very last episode of Heroes of the Plains. So my understanding is this is happening directly after Freely and Penelope get married. So everything that happened in all of the shows, including D4, which also wrapped. So now that whole history of her is enshrined. And she didn't die, which is good. Because we had that in our back pocket of like, how do we get Orkira back from D4 over to Beyond Heroes? Well, she might die. But yes, so basically the only thing that will not have happened yet, you figure I'd be used to that by now, but I'm not, is the wrap up that happened at the end of Heroes of the Plains. So,
yeah.
But you're not going to need to really know any of that. If all you know about Orkira is what's in the Idle Champions game, you're going to be fine. So she'll have the Phoenix and she'll have a whole bunch of healing and fire.
Got a few questions from chat. We've got Lurking Rider, and it's this question: how long will this episode go for? I would like it to go for a full hour because hearing the two of you together is there's nothing after is in my document.
I appreciate that it is all of the things. That it is both the good and the bad. Well, yeah. I appreciate that. Todd and I have been friends for a long time, so yeah, if there's an excuse for us to talk about D&D,
yeah, it's
whether it's in front of people or not, we're happy to just do that.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's not work. Luke McKay, I don't know, you might know that guy.
I'm familiar.
With Orkira having a flying speed of 50 feet, would she know what it is to deal with airline food?
Oh, you never want to eat and fly. That's like you don't eat before you swim. You don't eat and fly. Don't fly and eat at the same time. First off, crumbs. You don't want to be, leaving crumbs on people. Also, you're just going to get cramps in weird places, like in your tail. It's bad.
Yeah, I feel like if you're half man, half bat, they seem very tummy oriented. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like birds kind of have it down in terms of like, okay, I've eaten my food, but I can still fly. Like, ravens seem to be fine. I've watched a raven just fly off with a giant biscuit the size of my fist and just go into the sunset.
Yeah. Well, but they're either flying with it or they're birds who have that kind of digestion. I feel like, it's you probably don't want to be eating while you're flying. I think you probably eat and then fly. Unlike swimming.
I don't even like going for a walk after I eat. So
I know naps are nice. Post-food naps are really nice.
Yeah. Sometimes Megan will be like, "Do you want to walk it off? Do you want to go for a walk?" I'm like, we just ate pasta.
One of those. So in D4, we went on this big. It was a road trip, but there was a lot of walking. And because Orkira has this really fast fly speed, but she's only got 25 feet of walking speed, basically for the entire trip, what she's doing is like flying up into the air, keeping an eye on things, landing. And then as everyone's walking along, because she's slower than everybody, she just ends up moving towards the back of the group. When she gets back to the group, she flies up, she takes a look around and comes back down. Yeah. And it got to the point in where I was just like, and she's up there like snacking. Because, what else are you going to do? It's these random things in D&D that I like thinking about.
I mean, that's a good trail for someone else to follow you, though, with.
Yeah, but if it's food, the chances of it being eaten. I mean, this isn't. This is not Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs. This is Orkira eating trail rations, and if she's cast create food and water, her food tastes like vaguely like lobster. So
that's nice. I like lobster.
Yeah. Vaguely like lobster, though.
Vaguely like lobster.
Vaguely, yes. 6 years in a bag with Harold, you can only get it vaguely like lobster.
After playing a character for 3 years, is it harder to make new characters with the expectation of them being long term? Because because like one shots, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make a silly guy who eats people. Okay, yeah. But then someone's like, well, this may be going on for 3 years. Then I'm like, oh.
No, because new characters for me, what helps a lot when creating a new character is having constraints. And usually I'm the player who waits for everybody else to make their character and then makes their character because I'll look, and that's how Orkira came to be, literally. Like the reason I was a cleric is because we were making all of our characters and I went, oh, there's no healing.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Okay. So what I like is seeing what's already out there and finding what are the gaps. And it's less about an optimized build and more of like, okay, what don't we have? What can I bring to the table that we don't already have? Oh, we've already got a intelligence-based character. We've already got a couple of melee characters, and you've already got a druid. So let's go something charismatic. So making a new long-term character just adds the who is also not a dragonborn or a cleric.
Right.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like especially now I'm still kind of playing Orkira. You know,
Yeah.
I've got ICP3 and then, you know, she might show up on a one shot or two. So I'd like my next long-term character to not get that direct comparison. So it's in a weird way a little easier because now I have a larger collection of don't do this so that I have something new to try.
Yeah, like I've had very lengthy conversations currently of like, what is not this character? What's the opposite? And like, you don't have to go oppositeville, but there is a tendency to kind of want to, especially if you've been kind of in this space for a very long time, acting wise.
Yeah.
You kind of need a break.
Yeah.
So
Or-
me personally, I'm like, I'm probably gonna go pretty lawful on shit.
Or what you find is like, okay, these are the things I absolutely don't want to do again.
Oh, yeah.
And then here's are the things that I really had a lot of fun with that I'm okay if they're still in this character. Like it became kind of a joke, but when Orkira took Observant and her passive perception went through the roof and it got ridiculous, I really enjoyed that. And so if I end up playing another character that has a really good perception, like that was a lot of fun to me. And I can just come up with different reasons for that. But no, I won't play another, at least my next character will not be another Dragonborn, will not be another cleric. But if it ends up being like wisdom based, or if I end up, I probably won't have any healing just so that I get away from the being the healer mentality. But like,
Yeah.
if I have some of the spell crossovers, that's fine. Because some of these spells I find really fun. If I end up having some crossover because these were things in the game that I enjoy, then that's okay. So it doesn't have to be, because honestly, what's the exact opposite of Orkira is I need to be like a necromancer wizard who's evil. And that is not really my jam.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like I actually do quite like evil, but for the sake of the party. Like I've always found that those moments in television and novels to be interesting,
Yeah.
where someone's doing evil for the greater good. I have not ever done that on a live stream necessarily, except for maybe Marrow. But that was without any kind of context of intelligence. That was like, but like
Yeah.
I used to play a character that would be like, okay, well this king is very evil. I'm going to kill that. When I was 18, a version of the character that I recently played. But those two characters are very different. One was very pragmatic, like, okay, this guy's a problem. I'm just poisoned him.
Yeah.
We are now able to move on as a party. His best friend was a paladin. like it was, and I miss that chemistry of like, I'm obviously terrible, but it's a group and everyone gets along and everyone's
And
accepting of that.
That's the key. I have not played an evil. I ran an evil campaign back in 4th edition, and I've played in a campaign where one of the characters was evil. And it takes a lot of trusting the other players at the table, and it takes a lot of checking in order for it to go well. And you, like you said, you have to play evil in a very specific way.
Yeah, like almost.
Because then it's just not fun for anybody.
Yeah, like it. I mean, I think you just have to kind of know. I mean, again, like when I'm talking about like an evil, like that, like we knew that character was evil, like that bad king.
Yeah.
Not killing other good NPCs even. Like just having a very loose moral compass that is still very focused on the greater good and makes everyone uncomfortable as characters but not as players. Like no one wants to play with someone who's just like murdering bunnies. That kind of evil is not fun at all.
or going behind your back to like, hey, we've decided as a group that we're not going to do this thing, and then you go away, and then that character goes back and does the thing anyway. Like there's still lines you gotta cross.
Non-antagonistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but no, evil to me it's not yet something that sounds like fun unless it's an all evil party, and then even then, like
again, I exploded an elf once. I've never been happier. It makes me laugh.
I know, but like I still enjoy the sitting down and being friends with other characters.
Oh yeah, no, that was an NPC. That was an NPC. But that kind of absurdity that you very rarely get in D&D. I think this is why the Suicide Squad is doing so well, and things like Peacemaker is that you have this kind of darker, edgier, and I don't even know if it's such an overused term. Because they're still heroic characters, but like why am I forgetting
the anti-hero?
Anti-hero, yeah. It's always I think it's heavily overused because it sounds like this person is also like, oh, I don't want to be the hero, but like I like the idea of a hero who goes about thinking that they are good. I think paladins are kind of dangerously in that zone.
Well, I think the other thing you have to remember, Orkira considers herself an anti-hero because she doesn't consider herself a hero.
Oh,
she's the
right. Yeah. Okay.
And so sometimes, and I know this is like a bad example, but like thinking about how you can be a character who is with a group of people who wants to help them out, but isn't necessarily thinking I'm doing it to go be heroic. Is another way, because whenever anyone ever asked, Orkira is, I'm not the hero. These are the heroes. My job is to help them.
Right.
And so coming up with those reasons why I want to hang out with these people, and maybe that's just me because one of the other things I really glob onto with D&D is that found family aesthetic is a very strong motivator for me to want to play.
Right.
And found family, you can have an asshole in your family, but your asshole can only be an asshole in certain ways.
Right.
Before the family disowns them. So
Right. Yeah, that's accurate.
But once again, it's like as long as you're all having fun and everybody's talking ahead of time, then it all works out. It's what
the
your
working writer has just said that Lauren's next character is going to be a family of kobold bakers. Sure.
No comment because this is a long-term thing. Yeah, I have a family of kobold bakers in my back pocket.
That's excellent.
You should, yeah. You know what, lurking writer? When it happens, you'll know.
It's so upsetting.
No. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, I am to be determined. I am at the whims of the future. So I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
Well, we've already talked about on Demiplane how we're going to finish up the Strixhaven campaign, and then there's another thing that's coming that's going to be another long-term campaign. We haven't given any details yet, but the me working on another character is not just an esoteric idea.
Right.
But you will have to wait for more announcements there. But we're here to talk about Orkira and Idle Champions Presents, unless you want to talk about Moondance. Unless you want to talk about...
Tell me about Moondance for those that do not know at this point. Is that possible?
Well, I hope not. I hope everybody in chat has bought Disco the Baby Moonstone Dragon for me. Yay. I ran a one-shot last week when we released the Familiar for a couple people who work here at the company, a couple wonderful people, and Brian Gray, who is Urban Bohemian on Twitch, who helped create Disco. And it's a charity fundraiser for the Canadian Cancer Society. And if you make the purchase before February 22nd, all of the net proceeds will go towards the Canadian Cancer Society, which is a wonderful organization. And it is the most adorable. It is the most adorable Familiar. So I ran a whole one-shot that was based in a Moonstone Dragon's dream. It was their 999th birthday party, and they needed bouncers because you know what? Sometimes when you're 999 years old, you make some enemies, and people want to come and ruin your dreams.
It's true.
So you hire a bunch of adventurers to hang out in your dream and make sure that things don't go wrong. And when
it's like Inception.
A little bit. Except with more carnival games and dancing and an endless buffet. Because if you have me run a game, I will make all of your food dreams.
Centric. Yeah.
Food dreams will come true. Yes.
Perfect.
All of your food dreams. There was a pie eating contest, but there was the threat of the dream getting ruined. And you know what? When dreams turn into nightmares, it can get bad.
That's true.
That's up on our YouTube channel, and you can go watch that and see us having 2 hours worth of fun in a dreamscape, making all of the dancing puns. I still have a list of 50 different song titles that have moon in them. We got through like 10. I could only work in 10. I'm so upset.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to just stand there.
I had a lizard folk band ready to just play all the moon songs.
Perfect.
Bare naked lizards were right there.
Boo.
Yes.
Boo.
Yes.
All right.
It was great.
Well, that's our Idle Insights, everybody. That's Lauren Urban. That's it. Check out.
I feel like we didn't. How did this already end? This is not fair.
I'm sorry. Idle Champion presents the 3. Cora the Raven Queen. Don't. Ice-T needs to show up. Is gonna happen on Monday at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. on this channel. Come and join us.
This
Come
channel that you're watching here, us disaster folk. On.
We are not disaster. We are lovely.
I will accept that. So thank you everyone in chat. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.